Hey guys, so today we're going to do an introduction to protein synthesis. So in this video we're going to give a bit of an overview of the chain of events that occur in order to produce proteins. So I'll draw a little flowchart here and then we can have a chat about it. So what we've got here is nucleotides, nucleic acids, amino acids, and then proteins. So let's talk about these individually, but we might actually start with nucleic acids because, believe it or not, this might actually be something you're more familiar with. So there's basically two types of nucleic acids, and the first one is DNA. So I'm sure a lot of you have heard of DNA, and DNA actually stands for deoxyribonucleic acid. And the second type of nucleic acid we have is called RNA. And this means ribonucleic acid. Let's head on back over now to nucleotides. So nucleotides are basically the building blocks that make up nucleic acids. And there are 5 different types of nucleotides. So we have cytosine, which can sometimes just be represented with a C. We've got thymine, represented with just a T. We've got adenine, represented with an A. We've got guanine, represented with a G. And lastly, we have uracil, represented with a U. So we've got the 5 different types here. And these building blocks will actually be joined together to form these nucleic acids. So if I give you a little picture here, a basic nucleic acid might look something like this. So we might have an A here, so adenine, we might have guanine here, then thymine, and then maybe cytosine here. So as these are strung together, they're creating a string of DNA, or could be RNA. And this will actually be read from one end to the other, and it creates what's known as the genetic code. And it is very cool because actually these strands of nucleotides, these nucleic acids, are what contain all your genetic information. So anything from the color of your eyes, the facial features you have, the talents you have, they're all stored in this code as DNA and RNA. I think that's pretty cool. And that then leads us on over to amino acids. So this particular sequence of nucleotides will determine a particular sequence of amino acids. So let's first talk about what amino acids are. And these are basically the building blocks for proteins, which I mentioned in one of my last videos. So there are more than 500 different types of amino acids found in the world, but when you're talking about the human body, we only use 20. So we will get into this structure and a little bit more about amino acids later, but just in this overview, we're just considering them as building blocks for proteins. So then if we go on over to proteins, proteins are basically strings of amino acids. And we did talk about this in one of the last videos. So what I've drawn here is just a basic string of amino acids. So each of these is a different type of amino acid, and it's in a particular order. Sorry, this nucleic acid down here has encoded for this particular order of amino acids over here. So these amino acids are going to interact with each other. They'll have attractions and things like that that will draw particular amino acids towards each other and create folds in the protein, and it will be a unique fold. So every time this sequence of amino acids occurs, the same folding will occur. And this folding of the protein creates the shape of the protein. And that shape of the protein then becomes, it then determines the function of the protein. So that is pretty much an overview of what we're going to get into in the next couple of videos. Let's do a quick recap. So in talking about the introduction to protein synthesis, we started with nucleic acids, which include DNA and RNA. And then we went back and talked about nucleotides, which are the building blocks that make up nucleic acids. And we said there are 5 types listed there. These 5 types of nucleotides can be strung together in any combination, and that is what forms a particular DNA sequence. This DNA sequence or RNA sequence is then read and translated into a sequence of amino acids. So amino acids are the building blocks for proteins, and there are over 500 different types of amino acids in nature. When you join these together, you come up with a protein. A string of amino acids together determines the shape of the protein, and then the shape of the protein determines the protein function. Now, if that doesn't all make sense at this point in time, that is totally okay. This is just a sort of a map of where we're going in the next few videos. And it can get confusing if you go into the detail without really understanding where you're going and what it's all about. So don't freak out if you don't understand. I left some details out on purpose. So just try and take this as an overview, and we'll get into the nitty-gritty in the next few videos. So thanks very much for watching, guys. Peace.